Hey everyone, we'll be beginning shortly. I'm getting everything set up before we begin proper. Okay, post it there. Saved here. Get rid of this because I don't need it anymore. Connection seems fine. Sound being picked up, or at least my voice is. Everything seems to be good, so we can begin. Hi everyone. Welcome to another stream. Hope everyone had a nice weekend. Mine was alright. We are going to be continuing with Apollo Justice, not Phoenix Wright. I wish, but no, we're going to be continuing with Apollo Justice Trilogy. Last time we had played this, we had investigated the crime scene some more, tried to figure out what happened with the bodyguard, who I can't remember the name of right now, because he got shot, and he was like, "Talk to the siren," and then he died. And during the investigation, the body was stolen, put on a pedestal, and then the guy, the blind guy that could only speak in a different language, which is hieroglyphs apparently, couldn't be understood. So he was just sort of there as well, but unconscious. And apparently that means that he's the one who did it. Ooh. I don't know how he would shoot a gun if he's blind, but whatever. Anyway, we are now going to be doing the case, court case now, and hopefully we'll actually be able to find out some stuff, because last time we didn't find out anything. Other than that, yeah. So without further ado, let us switch over to the game screen and begin today's stream. So, as usual, it's been a week or a few days, so I don't remember most of the new characters' voices, which is great. I'm going to have to try and remember them as I go. Cells are picked up, showing up in there. Finish this. Yep, I think we're good. Good game. Is everyone ready for the court? July 9th, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 3. Oh, we're immediately starting, okay. Court is now in session for, how do I say that? Much to buy, Your Honor. The pixie of the arpeggio. Right, his trial, court is in session. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution is A-OK here, Judge. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. My opening statement, yeah? No, actually, there was something else I wanted to ask you about. Yes? Say you're going to visit someone in the hospital with an incurable disease. What do you say to them? Eh? I mean, you wouldn't say, get well soon, right? You'd only be kicking them when they're down. What are you talking about? Actually, I'm going to visit someone who's terminally ill. Right after this trial, the Chief Justice's son. The Chief Justice? His son is afflicted with the most terrible disease. He doesn't have long, it seems. So I thought I'd go pay him a visit. I thought saying something moving might be in order for the day. Why don't grown-ups ever just say what's on their mind instead of pretending? He's looking at me like something like disgust. Hey, what are you looking at me like that for? In any case, I'm a bit busy today, so let's wrap this up quickly. Wow, Judge. Wow. I don't care about someone else's murder. I only care about visiting something else today. Screw these people. Prosecutor Gavin, your opening statement, breathe free. You're in luck here, Judge. I believe you'll be going for the hospital visit sooner than you think. First, to review the victim in this case. Romain Letousse, age 35. Global manager for the Diva Strong Search Le Mémoire. Cause of death, blood loss, due to being shot by a large caliber revolver. This report has all the details. The court accepts this into evidence. I just noticed, were they always flowers, or is it special for this one? Due to loss of blood from a gunshot wound, estimated time 9 to 9:30 p.m. I mean, we were there. We could probably just tell them the exact time. 25 caliber. That's quite large, isn't it? No, I think a lot of guns are 45 caliber. A direct hit from that would knock a man off his feet. However, the bullet struck him in his shoulder. The man damage to the body was slight. Death was not immediate. Sadly, his blood loss was such that he could not be saved. I suppose the victim's condition could have been much worse, considering. 2 shots were fired. 1 shot missed, the other penetrated and passed through the victim's shoulder. Both bullets were found on the wall at the scene. Observe the diagram. This is where the bullets hit. I see. The court accepts this into evidence. I'm certainly getting a lot of evidence all of a sudden. If we're talking about a 45 caliber revolver, we must assume that the killer was adept at the weapon's use. Really? Yeah, apparently. Weapons that size of a powerful kickback. If, say, the judge tried to fire one, it'd break every bone in his body because he's so old and decrepit. The defense will take more care in choosing examples. As I was saying, the victim was shot backstage in a dressing room. The dressing room was only one entrance, this door. That does seem to be the case, yes. However, there were witnesses who heard the gunshots. It's all about you and Emma, huh? Yet when the witnesses entered the room, it was empty, save for the victim's body, of course. But that's impossible. Exactly. This murder was impossible. For all but one person. One person? That is, of course, the defendant, Majorshepard. Only this defendant could have committed the crime? But how? It's quite simple. The circumstances of the crime scene make it clear. Very well, I assume you have testimony to back up this claim. Please show the witness to the stand. Oh, hi, Emma. Your name and profession, please. Emma Sky, I'm a detective at the police department. I was on security detail on the concert forum that night. Emma seems tired somehow. Oh, I was right on that play. Okay. Security at the concert, you say? Some security I was. Couldn't even stop a murder. Now, don't blame yourself. Things like this happen. Made even bigger mistakes in my career, you know. I'm sure that makes her feel much better. I want to hear about these bigger mistakes. In any case, because you were on security detail, the crime scene was quickly discovered. And we were able to identify the killer. You may give the court your testimony, if you would. Describe the circumstances of that day and your discovery of the crime, please. All right. Stop being cute. God damn it. That night of the murder, I was on security backstage at Prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I went into the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it. You can't just say that. You have to give evidence as to why you thought that. It was lucky that the detective was the first on the scene. That door was the only way out of the room, right? Yeah, pretty much. But I don't get it. How can I say that Machi did it? Looks like we need a bit more information. Very well, the defense may begin the cross-examination.
Hold it!
That night of the murder was the night of the concert, yes? That's right. What was the detective doing on the security detail, I might ask? If it was only a concert. My thoughts exactly. But orders are orders, even when they come from rock gods. Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, allow me to explain. I smelled something that day, you might say. The stench. Oh, conspiracy. That day at the concert hall. Conspiracy? Well, isn't it obvious? My keys, the whole morning. No, the whole day was ruined. It's all because of someone stole my keys. I couldn't ram my arm to do the show. I couldn't even open the guitar case. Here he goes again. Isn't it possible he simply misplaced them? Misplaced them? Misplaced items don't just wander into a murder's victim's hands on their own. What's this? The prosecutor Gavin, if your keys were in the victim's hand, that makes you a prime suspect. Oh, he can play guitar. That means he's fine. Love, slow acting and new. Atroquinine is waiting for you. He's singing something. Does everything with this guy have to be so over the top? Reverse to you, Apollo. The killing happened in the middle of my concert. I was, like a sailor, adrift on the sea of sound. Anyway, I didn't want anything else stolen. Hey, Ruffatron. So I put up the detective with the most time on their hands on the task. I see. I can accept that. Well, I can't. What do you mean no time on their hands? Please, the testimony.
Hold it!
We were let in, though. I didn't know about that. I certainly didn't invite you. I gave the Fraulein special permission to be there. I wanted to see her again. Oh boy, did I hear that? We're officially involved now. Gee, great. Some of the hangers-on tried to get backstage, but I drove them off. So no other outsiders were there then, which is wrong because we saw that magician. And then...
Hold it!
I believe we were having a chat when we heard the shots. You were the one chatting. I was eating snackoos. Hey, no snacking in court. And you're sure the shots came from Lemoire's room? Yes, absolutely. Hey, I'm the one being cross-examined here. Here, this'll keep you quiet. Thanks. So, how about Emma? We were right there. Hard to mistaken about that. Please, either talk or eat. Both. Not both at the same time. Right, so after that, me and Mr. Lawyer there opened the dressing room door.
Hold it!
Rock? Blaring, yes. When you say rock, are you referring to perhaps to his rock and roll music that's so popular these days? These days? This is like 2020 or something. Rock and roll's been around for like years. Centuries at this point. That's a bit too much, but you get the point. That's right, when we went to the dressing room. Music was blaring over the speaker on the wall. They piped sound from the stage into the backstage through speakers. That way people in the back can hear when they're supposed to be on stage. Did it have to be so loud? You don't listen to the Gavineers with your ears. You feel it with your entire body and soul. I always had the backstage monitors at full volume. When we walked into the room, the band was playing Guilty Love, I believe, making it easy to determine the time of the crime. But if you could hear the music playing, then everyone on the stage for that song has an alibi, including myself. Anyway, I closed off the scene and started my investigation. How could you know something like that? As I said, it was clear from the circumstances. Listen. We know there was only one exit from the room, that door. A small window only opened a tiny crack. And I was standing in front of that door. So how could the killer have fled the scene? There's only one possibility, the air vent.
Objection!
But that air vent was too small. Who could possibly... Exactly. Yeah, 2025. So like I said. There's certainly no way you could get through, nor me. The only one who could fit, though, or fit through, was a child. A child. Remember, access to those rooms was limited. Only those involved with the concert were allowed. And all of the people involved with the concert, only one small enough to be considered a child. The defendant, the pixie of the arpeggio, flitted up toward the sky and disappeared from the scene of the crime.
Objection!
But that's just conjecture. Oh? There was no other way out of that room. You were there, you should know her, Hair Forehead. And there is no other vital piece of evidence. Evidence? What? Marks were found on the air vent grill. Traces that it had recently been opened. Wait, what? And something else was found, quite clearly. The defendant matched Abai's fingerprints. What? What? Order, order, order. That air vent was the only way out of the room. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the grill. Well, Head Forehead, what fairy tale does this suggest to you? Only one can pass through that vent, that doorway to heaven. And that one is our pixie. Why are you looking at me, Apollo? Hey, I was out whooping it out on in the Storians. So this was his decisive evidence. Quite decisive indeed. I believe that's enough of that. The prosecution has a rather convincing case. The only way in and out of the crime scene was watched, making the defendant the only one who could possibly leave the scene. Simple and decisive. I believe we have heard enough to determine our verdict. No, you need to let the defense actually cross-examine and do stuff. You can't just go, oh, well, that's enough evidence. The end. I'm going to go see my person in the hospital. Even if I wasn't in a hurry to make a hospital visit. Shut up. That's purely the reason you're doing this. I'm sure the Chief Justice will appreciate the gesture. Fortunately, we have no direct witnesses. Fortunately, the criminal left decisive evidence for us. That will have to be enough. Can't be over already. Very well, I believe this trial is finished. If the defense has no contradicting evidence, the prosecution has presented our proof clear and plain. If you have any contradicting evidence, it'd be better to be clear than plain. Apollo, they got us out of the oops already. We better come up with something quick. I know. Think what can get us out of this? A bomb. We need evidence or a witness that can prove Machi is innocent beyond a doubt. Without that... Ooh. Mr. Justice, do you have contradicting proof that can overturn the prosecution's case? If you do, you'd better tell us about it now. This is it, and so soon. If I mess this one up, it's all over. The court wants contradicting proof. Well, judging by what I remember Lamiwa saying, he wouldn't leave her side because he's blind. Prosecutor Gavin, you claim that there was no witnesses to this crime. Are you absolutely sure? Absolutely, I swear on my career as a prosecutor. And on my million-seller hit song, Atra Quinine, My Love. There he goes again. It's too bad, because there was a witness. Oh, really now? But how did you come to possess the knowledge the prosecution clearly does not? Because I'm the only one in the world who knows this. What's going on? I just talked to him and now... He's alive! Mr. Latouche, can you hear me? You're cold, so cold. Witness, you're cold. Don't worry, you're going to be fine. Help is on the way. God, see. Hang in there, Mr. Latouche. Tell me, who was the witness? The witness is Siren. What? Again, I do funny voices when it's flashbacks because, you know, that's my mind of how this guy sees himself. Or how the person that's doing the flashback sees themselves as. Apollo Justice sees himself as this big hoop superhero. The victim said this before he died. Perhaps he did, and perhaps he did not. What do you mean by that? All we know is what Hef Forehead says he said. It's no testimony, especially since it comes from the defense's attorney himself.
Objection!
But it's the truth. He said it. I even told you about it. But apparently you ignored me completely. It's my policy to fully investigate everything I deem relevant. Clearly this rookie lawyer thinks he can tell me how to do my job. That's enough. Mr. Justice, we need clear contradictory proof from you. This witness of yours, unknown to the prosecution. I hope you're right. Failure carries a stiff penalty. Perhaps a stiffer penalty than usual is called. There's no backing out now. Say the name of your witness, Mr. Justice. She's 40? Recall Mr. Latouche's last words. The witness is Siren. The siren. Aha, he meant the siren. That's right, the siren of the ballad, Laminoir. Laminoir was the only one on stage for the second set. Was only on stage. And she had access to the backstage area. She could have been a witness. I see. Well, Prosecutor Gavin, my claim still stands. There was no witness to the crime. Very well. Rafshan, I'm gonna need you to stop, spoiling things, because at no point was it said that was an amnesia. So, I understand that you're excited and everything's all right, but please don't spoil things even if I have played the game, because I don't remember a majority of it, and I'd rather find out through the game. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth, then, shall we? We will now take a break from Detective Emma Sky's cross-examination. Please show Laminoir the witness stand. Laminoir would say nothing in the night of the murder. Not today, though. Today we'll drag this story out of her, no matter what it is. Tell me the truth, Laminoir. Hold you at gunpoint. It is my distinct honor to welcome the Siren of the Ballad to our court. I'm trying to remember her voice. I think it was just like a higher, but more soft. You are too kind. You can speak English? Yes, I can. Though I'm not very good, there is much I do not know. You speak so well. Have you spent time here before? Actually, I do not know how I came by my knowledge of your language. No, nor where I studied. What does she mean she doesn't know? I too thought to call her as a witness, but I did not. I had a reason, of course. What's that? Laminoir suffers from amnesia. There we go. Now we know that. But again, I would like to have been like, oh yeah, that makes sense now, rather than being told before it actually gets revealed. Amnesia. Namiwa is not my true name. Yet I remember nothing of the time before I was given it. Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage. Whoa, she's even more mysterious than I thought. As lauded singer Namiwa, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her, thanks to success. I mean, this is a difficulty. A murder is a difficulty. I don't know what you're talking about. Yet I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress. I see. I care surprisingly little about people's pasts. You have nothing to fear in this court, Namiwa. That is a bold-faced lie, Judge. You have cared about people's past before. You shut up. You can't just say random stuff and think it will be true. Thank you. Yet there is something I do not understand. I'm being called as a witness. What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what happened. Let me be frank. I did not want to ask you up here to testify. Yet that young gentleman with the white forehead over there was adamant that you stand. Oh my. Congratulations, Apollo, you're the bad guy. Ugh. Well, now that you're here, please give us your testimony. If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Judge? It's okay, but be careful, you might go a bit too creepy. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime. As for what I saw nothing. That night I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there. That was where I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details. I must say, you sound wonderful just testifying. Okay, Judge, now you've gone too far. You're starting to get creepy. I hope he was too distracted to hear what she was actually saying. There you have it. She saw nothing that night. Now we can only pray that the defense has the sense to admit defeat and refrain from detaining her any longer than need be. Wow, you just got batter. You just got batter, Apollo. Way to go. Very well, Mr. Justice. Keep it short and sweet. Namiwa wouldn't talk to me the night of the crime. She must know something, and I've got to find out what.
Hold it!
You must have seen something. Mr. Latouche named you. Mr. Latouche? How can I tell you what I don't know? Namiwa, he said you were a witness with his dying words. I do not know what he meant to say, but that night...
Hold it!
It was a great concert. You heard me sing? Thank you. I was hoping to get an autograph later, actually. Of course. Mr. Justice, this is a cross-examination. You're out of line. Says you! If anyone deserves an autograph here, it's me. Oh my God, would be nice. Oh my God. Hey, Judge. What's this? It's my autograph. Now keep this trial moving. What? Oh, my grandchild will be so happy. Apparently his grandson is a big fan. Let us continue, shall we? If you would, Namiwa. Tell us what you did after your stellar performance.
Hold it!
You did not return backstage once. Where were you then? What were you doing? I was cleaning up on stage. There are many things I must do for a performance other than simply sing. And what was Machi with you at the time? Or was Machi with you at the time? Unfortunately, I do not know where he was. So much for an alibi for Machi.
Hold it!
With Machi, correct? How was he then? He seemed like he always does. Though I believe he was shocked by the news of Mr. Latouche's death. Yet, he is not the type to show too much emotion. Yes, he's given the police no end of headaches. He answers most questions with silence, and those glinting frames speak nothing. The question hasn't gotten very far. He sat there waiting.
Hold it!
How was the incident explained to you? I was told nothing in detail, only that Mr. Latouche died. Of course, investigations require some security. But Mr. Latouche was my manager. I wanted to know more. I should have been told. Both Machi and I were beside ourselves with concern. Allow me to apologize, but please understand. Keeping you in the dark was painful for me as it was for you. Yes, I understand. Think, what doesn't ring true about her testimony? It's hard to imagine Laminoir lying. She might not be lying, but she's hiding something. What wouldn't she tell me the night of the murder? I'll return backstage after the second set. Why does that sound wrong? Oh, well, immediately we found this.
Objection!
I'm sorry, Laminoir, but I'm having trouble believing you. You remember this brooch, do you not? Why, that's Laminoir's. She was wearing it for a song. Care to add that to the testimony, Prosecutor Gavin? What? This brooch was found after the murder took place, at the very scene of the crime. What? Laminoir, how did your brooch get backstage if you did not go there yourself? And as Prosecutor Gavin has just told us, you had been wearing it during your performance that night. She gasped so hard her thing went up. What is the meaning of this? Laminoir, please explain. Laminoir? She says English is quite difficult. What? If you can understand it, why didn't you translate for the guy, the kid? You know, the kid that can't actually speak English. Why is it? Again, I wanted to bring this up later, but I need to bring it up now. It's like, why do they not have a translator for the defendant? That is the main thing you should get, because they don't know what the hell's going on. They need a legal representation that's able to understand their client. Otherwise, this is just a circus show. That trick's not going to work here. Your forehead may be large, but you're a lawyer, truly. But you have missed one important fact. What now? In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment. What? Think back to the moment of the crime. You know whereof I speak. Is she really saying all of that? She's talking about what's she talking about, Apollo? Right when the incident occurred. She's talking about that? Watch this room for me. I'll call for backup, bitch. Right, understood. You want me to make sure no one comes in, right? And then we left. Mr. Latouche, can you hear me? Oh, so-called witness, you're cold. Don't worry, you're going to be fine. He'll help us on the way. The witness is Siren. Siren? How could a witness siren anything? Hey, Emma, is that you? Who's there? What's wrong? Emma, did you see anyone just now? Ah, no. I could have sworn I heard a door close. I looked into the room. Just a glance, mind you. So this was where your brooch dropped. That explains that. It does. There was no other time I could have dropped it. But that's ridiculous. You only looked in for an instant, but you dropped your brooch and so deep into the room? Because you can't just open the door and the brooch lands like 10 feet into the room. Careful. She has raised a positive possibility. The only thing that can be countered that is evidence. So she looked in at the crime scene. Actually, I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what happened, or what had happened, of course. But the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice. Forehead shouting, "Who's there?" No doubt. A horrible voice indeed. Ugh. I closed the door immediately. Well, that explains the brooch. Let's return to your testimony. That's too convenient. She's hiding something. While you did look into the room, though, right? Yes. Testify as to what you saw. Very well, though it was only the briefest of glimpses. Oh, it's glowing! Oh, it's glowing! Time to zoom in on you. I don't know where I'm looking. I'm just going like this. I can't go any lower. Behind a wall. I can at least press first. What did you see in that brief glimpse? I only opened the door slightly when I heard that horrible voice. And shut the door. I've always wondered, Forehead. Does that voice of yours lack a volume knob? It's my court of steel, man. Just back off. I saw nothing. I saw nothing.
Hold it!
A wall? Was there a wall there? Is what in English? A division, or partition, I believe. It was a large dressing room, divided into two halves. Oh, yeah. I thought that was on the wall. I didn't know that was sticking out. That's my mistake, then. The murder took place in the inside half. I guess that partition might have hidden the body. Hold on a minute. Her mouth's not moving. How is she talking without moving her mouth?
Gotcha!
Oh, okay, now she's swallowing. Okay, I guess that's where it went. I was nowhere near that, but I'll take it. The late Mr. Latouche's body, you say? Yes. You know something more about You know something more about Mr. Latouche's death than you are saying. What? I could see you trying not to remember, but the effort made you swallow. You can't fool my eyes. It is true. It was so terrible after all. Why did Mr. Latouche have to be shot? One moment, Lemoir. Yes? What was that you just said? Why did Mr. Latouche have to be shot? Yes? She was hiding something, I knew it! Well, I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but your words just now contradict your testimony. Eh? How could that be? Take this. Everyone contradicts your own testimony, and I have the evidence to prove it. Well... As he said, there was a partition in the way, so she couldn't have seen the body. So then how would she know that... I guess it's this one?
Take that!
If I do not misunderstand the meaning of contradiction, it is you who contradicts, Mr. Justice. Huh? Your evidence. It's meaningless. Wrong evidence! Gotta think this over. What did she say again? Why did Mr. Latouche have to be shot? That's right. That totally contradicts her testimony. Take this! He says it before he actually does it. I guess it would be this one then?
Take that!
Nope. Woo! More health lost.
Take that!
Nope. I've literally shown everything over here, so... The gun?
Take that!
The gem. Okay. As you no need to prolong this trial, the defense case is insufficient to overturn the prosecution's claims. The court finds the defendant Majorshepard guilty. And now I can go see this guy in the hospital or whatever. Try from this scene. Gotta think this over. It's so cool that they added that in. Oh, man. I wish they did that for the first trilogy, but it's great that they added it in this one. This is just shot. Take this. Like, I've shown that, and that. I've shown the gun. I've shown her pendant. How? There's nothing else is relevant to this. Oh.
Take that! Take that!
I guess I could try the lyrics.
Take that!
Doesn't make sense, though.
Take that! Take that!
Oh, really? It's that? How does that... How does that contradict herself? Tell me, Lamiwa, how did you know he had been shot? Eh? Well, immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is the document proving that. In your testimony, you told the court, no one told me anything about the incident. I guess because it would say that, oh, yeah, because she would... How would she know if no one told her? I get it, but, like, that's not what it was asking me. It was asking me what contradicts what she said that she had already said. That's not... Whatever. Furthermore, you testified that you had seen nothing, which means that you had seen something. You knew that Mr. Latouche had been shot. How could you have known? York! What kind of word is that? Lemuel, you aren't hiding something from this court, I hope. A sweet song of hers was sounding a little too sweet. Ah, now I remember. Please, allow me to add to my testimony. Of course. All we want to know is the truth. It was kind of pale, huh? She saw something, I know it. Even the victim said so. Please don't do another flashback. You just said that you took what the fuck? You just said you took a peek, so how in the hell did you peek in far enough to look to the wall?
Hold it!
Only a glimpse, yet you knew there were bullet holes? Yes, I recognized them immediately. I have seen bullet holes before, you know. You've traveled the world as a singer. You must have sung in places far more dangerous than our country. I go wherever my voice is needed. Those places are many these days. That's really cool. I hope I get to travel like Lemuel someday. I plan on recording my Lexino album overseas. The studio was a different sound, you know. Maybe I should go on a Chords of Steel tour, too. Probably this I have to show, because the door opens inwards, so she wouldn't be able to see it.
Objection!
Lemuel, they call you the siren of the ballad, but lies are hardly becoming of such a creature. A put-down worthy of our prosecutor, Mr. Justice. Such a put-downs are hardly becoming of you, Apollo. Stop polishing your forehead and start polishing your character, yeah? Come on, can't I be cool for once? Observe the diagram. Lemuel, you looked in from the door from just a moment, correct? Yes, that is so. There were bullet holes in the room, yes? But they weren't in the wall. They were in the wall. The door is on. As you see, assuming you merely glanced into the room, you couldn't have seen those bullet holes. York! Lemuel. Yes? I'm afraid the defense has raised a good point. It appears you have been holding back something. And I must tell you what it is I saw. Yes. Simple yes. The happenings in this trial are being recorded, and I'm certain it will be on the news in Borginia. You understand your reputation is at stake. Force you to avoid tarnishing it. Kind of impossible, seeing as she's lying on the stand. Personally speaking, I still believe that cross-examining her will yield us absolutely nothing. But she knew how Mr. Latouche died, and he named her as a witness. Hey, Sean. That's fine. Thanks for dropping by. You must have seen something, Lemuel. Very well. Lemuel, please continue your testimony. Very well, I shall. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was... Oh my god. It looks like they just kind of just propped up her normal portrait and then just put it there in the window. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it. There were two shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But it wasn't Machi. It was a grown person. I know it was. So you did witness the crime, but why didn't you say anything if it was gonna show that Machi wasn't the killer? And the killer was a grown person, you say? Ah, this is my first time hearing this, I assure you. Nice play, Hair Forehead. Very well, Mr. Justice, you may begin your cross-examination. Thanks, Sean. Get going, Apollo. You were right about Lemuel. What's wrong? You don't look too happy. This whole thing smells fishy. That's what's wrong. Well, we already know that she couldn't have seen it because the window only opens a crack.
Hold it!
So you were heading towards the dressing room? Yes. So this is a little before she opened the dressing room door and dropped her brooch. About the same time Emma and I heard those shots. I was on my way back. There was something like a window.
Hold it!
What exactly is something like a little window? Yes, well, window is the best word I know in English. I think this is how it is said, yes? You need not worry, Lamoire. Your choice of words is impeccable. There is a small window in the dressing room in question. Perhaps the defense remembers these details. A little window on the wall. I saw the crime from there. Two shots.
Hold it!
We're certain you heard 2 shots fired. Yes, quite certain. I was on my way to the backstage exit. That was when I heard a faint sound, like a gunshot. Wondering what it had been, I peered through the window. That is when I heard the second gunshot, much closer. And there were 2 bullet holes at the scene. No contradiction so far. It all happened on the other side of that window. There was nothing I could do.
Hold it!
It wasn't Machi who shot. Are you sure? Yes, quite certain. It amuses me that you would question her testimony. It is testimony in your favor. Isn't it my job to object? Yeah, Apollo, what are you thinking? Trucy, let's just listen to what Leminoir has to say. You tell me how you were so sure. Yes, of course. You see...
Hold it!
A grown person? That's a little vague. I am sorry. My skill with your language is lacking, I know. Certainly, you could at least see whether the shooter was male or female. He was a man. Oh, wait, wrong voice. He was a man, a young man. Are you sure of that? Yes, his voice was quite clear. Voice? Looking at this diagram, it seems the dressing room was quite cluttered. It does seem likely that you wouldn't have had a clear view of the shooter. As a singer, I rely more on my ears than my eyes. When I hear a voice, I do not forget it. That voice was the voice of a man. So you heard a voice, but wait. Couldn't that have been the victim, Mr. Latouche? Absolutely not. Did I not just say that I do not forget a voice? It was Mr. Latouche who spoke. I would have known. Indeed. So you were at the window and you heard the shooter's voice, the voice of a young man. Apollo, this is a good testimony. That proves it wasn't Machi. Indeed. If this turns out to be true, it would cast this case in a considerably different light. What is the defense's opinion on this testimony? Though it pains me to say this, there's something about Leminoir's testimony that rings false. Bravo, Herr Forehead. You're colder than I thought. I'm sure you remember what the problem is as well as I do, Gavin. As has been established, no grown man could pass through that air vent. He couldn't have fled the scene of the crime. But that means Leminoir has to be lying. I know, and I know it's bad for our case, but I can't shut my eyes to this. 1 second. I don't know what happened there, but I went dizzy for a second. Ugh. Right. Sorry about that. I know it's bad for our case, but I can't shut my eyes to this. Believe me, the idea was tempting. It is as Herr Forehead says. Yet this is not the only contradiction within her testimony. What next? What's he talking about? Leminoir, I understand why you would want to protect Machi. Yet remember, you are the siren of the ballad. And lies do not become such a creature. What does the prosecution mean? Apollo, what's he talking about? How come no one bats an eye when he says stuff like that? I recall the state of this crime scene quite well. The state of the room. When the murder took place, that window was closed. I find it hard to believe you could hear a voice through it. What? But I'm sure. Lemoir, I have nothing but the highest regard for your musical sense. But my opinion of you as a witness is somewhat lessened.
Objection!
But she's the only eyewitness we have.
Objection!
So you say. And the victim named her, the siren, as a witness. That's right. That's what Mr. Latouche. We heard your claim. Even heard entertained the possibility. And it brought us to this. Herr Judge. Yes? Prosecution requests that the witness be excused. Please. I'm afraid I must honor our prosecution's request. This is indeed a question of the witness's credibility. But if Lemoir can't testify, we don't have a chance of proving Machi's innocence. This cross-examination is over. Prosecutor Gavin, you may continue making your case. Danica. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. I would like to hear Fraulein Detective again.
Objection!
Or from. Wait, let me hear Lemoir's testimony one last time. But the cross-examination is over. Until such a time as a need arises, this witness may leave the stand. I'm sorry I could not be of more assistance. At last, back to the real trial. Ready, Herr Forehead? I hope I didn't just miss my only chance. Right, Detective, how far had we gone until we were rudely interrupted? Don't ask me. And it's like saying the same thing twice, and I never repeat a song for an encore. If you would, Miss Sky. Huh. Billy was saying something, saying that the only way Mr. Latouche's killer could have escaped was through that air vent on the ceiling. Ah, yes, there was only one door in the room. And a witness, you was standing in front of it. That air vent isn't very big, see? Kind of limits the people who could possibly get through. I certainly would have a difficult time. You sure would. Not that you would have been there in the first place, though. Remember, the whole backstage area was off limits to people not involved at the concert. The only one who meets the conditions of our killer is the defendant. Virtuoso of performance. I couldn't have put it better myself. She does state a clear case. Though, reading the report, something caught my eye. Oh, what's that? The circumstances of the defendant's arrest. The circumstances? Again? Hey, that's right, Apollo. Remember when we found Machi? That was bizarre. She's right. Why did Mr. Latouche's body disappear from the room? And end up on top of that stage tower? Holding a guitar, no less. A perceptive observation, Herr Judge. Thanks. I was kind of an accident, really. When you work in this job long enough, you get a nose for things. Judge seems to be pleased with himself. Very good, Fraulein Detective. Perhaps you could tie it all together for us. Where was the body moved? And how does that lead us to the killer? It's funny that we went from talking to Lemoir to just straight back to her. Ugh, the missing body. I believe Machi stole the body because of some lyrics. He moved the body to match Lemoir's song. No one in this country had a motive to kill a victim. And Machi practically left his signature at the scene. All of this evidence clearly points to the defendant. Lemoir's song? Yes, the guitar serenade. You noticed its code too, did you not? Its code? All the events that day followed the lyrics of the song. Sugar, sugar. First, the keys my heart held on so tightly were stolen. Then Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flames on stage. That's Apollo. Mr. Latouche's life was taken by a bullet. The rest hardly needs explanation. Guitar, guitar, up together to the sky. That's mad. It's like a story out of some fairy tale. She wears heels? I didn't know that. Jeez. Walking around on a crime scene in heels. I admit I'd forgotten about the song. But there it is now, waiting for me, the grand finale, as it were. Hey, you know, I was the one who first noticed that. I've heard of jumping a rope to songs and counting to songs. But killing? It's a wild world out there, Herr Judge. Very well. We've heard one song and dance, let's go on to the next, the cross-examination. I'm not sure I'm going to be doing much singing. He's kind of short. I mean, maybe.
Hold it!
Who would steal a body just to match some lyrics? I don't believe it myself, but it can't just be a coincidence. It is Fraulein Detective says. Let us begin with the first verse. If you would, Fraulein Detective. What? You want me to sing it? You are the witness, yeah? Or did you want me to sing? I warn you, my thief as a vocalist is not trivial. Fine, fine. Am I really gonna have to sing it? Let's look at the first part of the lyrics, shall we? When you stole away the keys of my heart held on to so tight. Indeed, my favorite my favorite heart-shaped keyring was stolen that morning. Next, we go to the right page of the lyric sheet, where we find burning on in my heart fire, burn my love away, all away. As we know, Detective Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flames. Like a bullet of love, fire, take my life away, all away. Mr. Latouche's life was taken by a bullet. Bravo, Fraulein Detective. Your singing, it's not bad. Now for the finale. Guitar, guitar, up together in the sky. As it says in the lyrics, Mr. Latouche was found with the guitar high in the sky over the stage. No series of coincidences could be so well conceived. He's right, scientifically speaking. What would Walkie have said? That consort was whack? It's hard to argue when she pours her heart into it like that. Anyway, the shooter...
Hold it!
Does the prosecution have any idea why he'd do all this? Want my scientific opinion? No clue. But he clearly had a reason to go through all that trouble. Some deep reason. A deep reason. Not only did he steal my keys, he torched my guitar. Unforgivable acts, even if he had a reason. And worse if he had none. Leave his complaints aside, I can't imagine someone doing this just on a whim. Fraulein Detective, I take offense to that description. Is this as bad as a mixing board? I don't know what you mean. Mixing board was easy. Indeed, it does seem too well rehearsed, shall we say. Yes, this crime was planned for sure.
Hold it!
But Mr. Latouche spoke English. He may have come to this country before. I looked into that, I assure you. Oh? It was his first time in the country, it seems. Apparently he learned English on his own. Great. You see? No one here had a motive to kill him, and certainly not in such an elaborate fashion. It does seem difficult to imagine. Unless our famous prosecutor did it as a publicity stunt. What did you say? Prosecutor Gavin, you did this to promote your song? Of course not, and I'm quite dismayed by the ludicrous nature of this claim. Why would I need promotion? Everybody already listened to my music. Even in my textbook at school. And I've never heard of them. What does that say about me? I was just kidding. Don't get all worked up, Glimmer Boy. Glimmer Boy?
Hold it!
What do you mean by his signature? The bullet holes in the wall, of course. Bullet holes? The revolver was fired twice. One shot missed and left a hole in the wall. And that means what exactly? A dressing room isn't exactly spacious. Picture the shooter facing off with the victim in there. They can't have been more than 5 feet apart. It would have been difficult, almost impossible to miss at that range. Difficult to miss, you say? Very. Assuming the shooter could properly aim. No, you can't be serious. Machi, he can't see. That's why he missed? It's your own explanation that makes sense. He used sound and other senses to fire the gun. Poorly. That reminds me, the monitor in that room was blaring at the time, yeah? Hardly ideal conditions for tracking by sound. A blind shooter. No wonder he missed. I knew those bullet holes would come back to haunt me. Think, Justice, what do I do now? Sure, there were bullet holes left in the wall. But that doesn't prove the shooter couldn't see. Oh, how so? Well, there could have been a struggle with the victim. That's certainly possible. And it might have been the revolver's fault. The revolver? The revolver is a very large caliber, correct? But the shooter wasn't used to firing such a large weapon. Why would why it could dislocate their shoulder? Exactly. The defendant Mashitabai is, as you can see, tiny. It's not so hard to picture him firing the gun and missing entirely. The kickback alone would have thrown us off his aim. A convincing argument, to be sure. Haha, take that, smug prosecution. Apollo. Huh? What? A bit about Machi being tiny. And the gun throwing off his aim? Aren't you kind of, admitting that he did it? Oh. Does not matter why he missed. What matters is that the shooter was, without a doubt, the defendant. Even the defense seems to agree on that point. Literally tells him that, well, he couldn't have done it because he would be frail and his arm would be dislocated. Oh, no, that means he did it because he missed. Okay. Cripes, I really put my foot in this time. Let's get to the facts of the matter on the record. If you would, Fraulein Detective. Very well, the witness will add this to her testimony. Right.
Hold it!
You can't say he was blind just because of those bullet holes in the wall. I think I've proven that. I wouldn't call it proof per se. Huh? You merely raised a possibility. Fraulein Detective was made a most logical conjecture based upon the evidence. Of course, there is more evidence than just bullet holes. The defendant was the only one who could have escaped through the air vent.
Objection!
But wait, if he was blind, how would he know about the air vent in the first place? Ah, a very good point. Well, Fraulein Detective, you could care to explain. He certainly seems sure of himself. Recall the crime scene if you would. There was a stepladder below the air vent. As it happens, maintenance was scheduled for that day. Custodial staff went around checking all the air vents. I don't believe it. Everyone backstage was told about the maintenance, including Machi Tabai. He would have known that there would have been a way out of the top of the ladder. But that's... Why is this the first time I'm hearing about this? You could have figured it out yourselves. For yourself. You don't need to consider that the stepladder was doing there. Looks like the defense's objection has been squished by a stepladder. Well, her forehead. Out of ammunition, perhaps. Never seen Prosecutor Gavin so aggressive. Maybe he's caught the scent of blood. Apollo, don't you have something? Anything? You know what we need? We need something to prove the killer could see. That'll put him in his place. Proving the shooter was silent would do it. That would take down one of their central points. Just saving. Do I have any evidence that can prove that, though? No need. Can't think of anything that proves the shooter could see. Wait, no. I said no need because we don't need to show that. The face doesn't exactly project confidence. Maybe you should just accept it and move on. Apollo, grow a backbone. Look, that's just not what I wanted. It said no need. I don't need to present evidence because it's obvious. But okay. Very well, the witness may continue her testimony. I couldn't even get a word in edgewise. Doesn't look so good, does it, Apollo? No, it doesn't. What do we do? First, we don't panic. Even though Match's case is leaking water by the gallon, Gavin's on a roll and it's up to me to stop it.
Hold it!
Fine, we'll do it again.
Objection!
Me. Fine, I accept the prosecutor's challenge. As I knew you would have, Forehead. What exactly am I up against here? The prosecution is saying the shooter missed because they couldn't see. Therefore, Machis, who's blind, did it. The defense will please present their evidence. Evidence that overturns the prosecution's claim that the shooter couldn't see. Ah!
Take that!
This is that evidence. It immediately went into the song. The photograph of the crime scene. I don't care much for the smirk on Prosecutor Gavin's face. But this is no time to think twice. Time to press on. Yes, Your Honor, the crime scene. There is something in there that decisively contradicts the prosecution's point. Then perhaps you'd best show this something. Get your finger out of the breeze and put it to good use, yeah? Very well, show us what you're talking about, Mr. Justice. The contradiction at the scene of the crime is...
Take that!
The contradiction is right here. The smeared bloodstains. I thought it was just my blurry vision. But it really was blurry. The way the victim's hand is raised above his head. Much like a gesture I've seen many times in this court. It's almost as if he wrote something. Aha, I get it. At least, I think I get it. Get what, Fraulein? When Mr. Latouche was shot, he tried to write something. And what would he write but the shooter's name? And what would he write it in but his own blood? Pretty good, huh? Thanks for making my point for me. Yes, in fact, that's what I would think happened here. There does seem to be a distinct possibility. The victim wrote the killer's name. It's certainly a logical conclusion. Drat, I just wish it wasn't all rubbed out like that. Of course it's rubbed out. Why, if I were a killer, I certainly wouldn't want to leave my own name behind. Neither would I. I've reversed it on them. No one has anything else to say? About what? So the prosecution accepts this. You agree that this was the victim making an attempt to record the name of the killer, and that the killer tried to rub the name out. What's your point? What's my point? Let me ask you this. How did the killer know the victim was writing their name? Well, Mr. Latouche was writing something in blood. Once the killer saw that, what it was... Wait. Once he saw what it was... But what you did was just testify about the shooter. I said they were blind. Finally, they took a lot longer than Apollo to figure out they made a mistake. Yet the crime scene itself contradicts that. The killer would have had to have been the killer had to have been able to see. Why would they rub out the name on the blood otherwise? May I remind the court... Hey, I was reading that! May I remind the court that the defendant, Matthew Tobias, is blind. He couldn't have been the shooter. Impossible! He even has anklets. He has those, I don't know what they're called, like capri pants or whatever, the ones that only go up to shin. Why is it auto going? Order, Prosecutor Gavin. Please explain what all this means. I mean, looking at this photo, it's quite clear that the shooter could see. Yeah, up until now. Seems I owe this court an apology. The Gaviniers are a band with the law enforcement. That's me. Law enforcement ties, yet a murder occurred. During our concert, apparently. This caused some confusion over jurisdiction. As a result, some reports were not filed in an entirely timely manner. I'm not sure I like the vibe I'm getting here. Yeah, Apollo, look at him. Why is Prosecutor Gavin all relaxed and smiling like that? Like he knows something we don't. And he's about to tell us. I've got an idea. Let's rock! With these documents. But before that, I have a question for the Fraulein detective, if I may. What? Tell me. What do you think that Machi Dubai is blind? Huh? What did he say? What do you say? Of course he's blind. Of course. He's the blind pianist, right? So he's... Doesn't Lemuel lead him around by the hand all the time? No way. I have a report here on the defendant, Machi Dubai. According to this, Machi Dubai can see perfectly well. What? His blindness was merely a publicity ploy by those clever Borginians. He can see quite well.
Objection!
Oh, is it going to be like it's a reverse? It's actually Lemuel that's blind? That would be interesting, but who knows? But you said... What did I say exactly? Yeah, Forehead, not once in the court in this trial. The course of the trial, have I claimed the defendant was blind? The only one who did was Fraulein Detective. But that's a significant fact, yes. Consider Machi Dubai sees. And he was the only one who could have fled through the air vent. I see no problem with this. What about the bullet holes in the wall? Yes, the bullet holes. I believe Herr Forehead neatly explained those for us. He didn't miss because he couldn't see. It was the kickback from the 45 caliber revolver. A simple accident, in other words. Ugh. How's that? I'm afraid your objection has just flown off the brighter skies. This is where the real fun begins, Herr Forehead. Yarr! You didn't have what it took. You jerk. Just what I was in here for. Comic relief? Yeah, I apologize. Oh, sorry. There's no way to apologize. He's angered the Trucy now, look out. If we can please end the bickering now. Whatever, I'm not leaving. I can't leave like this. I'll come up with some clue to solving this case if it kills me. But your testimony has already given us enough to convict the defendant. Don't say that. Aha! Aha what? This bloodstain. The criminal tried to wipe it off, right? It seems to be what happened, yes. You might be able to find out what really happened written there. Really? You can do that? That's right, with this. It's called luminol. Hey, it's back again! Maybe you know of it? It's a chemical that reacts to blood. Ah, yes. Have we done those tests? Yet, as if I'm going to tell you. Bloodstains covered a section of the carpet. In order to perform blood tests, the section was removed and submitted. Perhaps we should request it here in court now. Right, go for it, Apollo. Huh? I have to do the test? You just have to spray the luminol on it. Simple. Chemical that reacts to blood. I've heard of this somewhere. Yes, I believe an analysis is called for. Have at it. Right, ready? It's easy as pie. Just press space to spray an area. Here, give it a try. The eyes of the entire court are focused on me. Apollo, your hand's shaking. I could do this. Let's do this. It's a bunch of numbers. Wow, it really works. This must be the power of science. It says IPXX314206. Is that the killer's name? Maybe it is. If the killer was a robot. Haha, I have it. So what is it? I thought those letters IPX looks familiar. It's an Interpol ID number. Interpol? You mean the International Police Agency? Yes, most of our undercover agents work to solve international crimes. Well, why would he write that number? Why would Mr. Latouche even know a number like that? Good show, Fraulein Detective. Rock on. Eh? Your Honor, we can verify this number immediately. Darian, you there? Come up with the witness stand. Darian, you heard what you need. Go check into this Interpol ID number. Sure thing. I need to remember it. Sure thing. Give me 30 minutes. No, give me 27. I'm not sure what to think of all this. The prosecution's case is airtight, or so it seems. Yet if this number is really that of an Interpol agent. Oh, wait. I know. What if Machi Tabai is really an undercover Interpol agent? That would be a possibility. A possibility, yes. And one that would mark him as the killer for certain. Also, he's 14 years old, so he wouldn't be an Interpol agent. He's barely old enough to be in school. Why did Mr. Latouche know an ID Interpol number? That's what I want to know. Well, we have some time while we wait for Darian's report. Let's work on unraveling another mystery, shall we? A curious mystery concerning Machi Tabai. What are you talking about? Well, Detective, please accept my apologies. I received word that the defendant could, in fact, see just before the trial began. It seemed too much of a bother to tell you. You had me until the last bit. Does this not raise a rather straightforward question? Well, sure. Why did Machi pretend he couldn't see? Exactly. It makes little sense. It's part of his stage presence. What do you think, Hair Forehead? Huh? Me? Machi Tabai pretended he was blind. Do you know why? How could he know? How could he know? Wait, Prosecutor Gavin knows why, doesn't he? He's known from the start of this trial. He's been leading us on this whole time. Something wrong? Do you think perhaps that this is all some kind of game? Know that the moment I heard that report, I knew why. I suppose people who have sold over 1 million records really are something else. What does that have to do with anything? There was a reason why Machi Tabai pretended to be blind. But it wasn't for his own sake. Get the picture now? It wasn't for himself. I knew it. Well, Mr. Justice, can you present evidence that shows us why the defendant had to be feigned blindness? Machi had no reason to pretend he couldn't see. Which means... No, it couldn't be. Good show, Hair Forehead. It seems you have thought of something. Why can't I figure these things out on my own? Because you have to be shown up by everyone else in your own game. I hate having to take my cues from this guy. Very well, look at this. This is why he was pretending he couldn't see.
Take that!
That is La Mémoire. La Mémoire and Machi Tabai. Recall their relationship. In particular, their unique arrangement over the years before visiting our country. La Mémoire and the pianist. They would always walk together, she leading him by hand. Even when they got on stage, she would lead him to the piano. She would walk all the way over there with him. That's right, because he was blind. Yet, she led him at all times, never letting him go. All times. Yet, we have just learned something that makes their arrangement peculiar indeed. Machi could see. Why did they have to keep up this act the whole time? Well, wasn't it part of their performance? I think there's a simpler explanation. Machi did not need to be led by the hand at all. That can only mean one thing. Really? Really? It was all the other way around. The one who needed to be led by the hand was La Mémoire. What's this? So you mean to say that La Mémoire is... Yes, Your Honor. La Mémoire is blind. What? Order, order, order. This is crazy. Prosecute Gavin. Is it now? Please shed some light on sanity on this madness. The defense has made an outrageous claim. The only thing outrageous I see is the defense's vast forehead. Yet I see it is not vast in vain this time. He's quite correct. But that makes no sense. Yeah, wasn't she supposed to be the landscape painter in sound or something? Well, since we have her here, why not just ask Lamoire herself? I believe she's still in the witness waiting room. Apollo, what does this mean for our case? Don't ask me, I had no idea she couldn't see. I hadn't even imagined it until now. Bailiff, bring in Lamoire. Lamoire, it pains me to deeply call you before us again in this way, and yet I must. Please do not be concerned on my behalf. Those eyes, she really can't see. Really? It is true. How funny it is that the tiny lie born in the Bourguignon countryside would one day grow to entangle the entire world. So you are... Yes, as I mentioned before, I have no memory of the time before I became Lamoire. Know too that my memories begin in darkness. The word light has no meaning for Lamoire. I see. You may recall me saying something toward the beginning of this trial, Herr Forehead. What's that? I believe I said it was unfortunate this crime had no direct witness. Now, Lamoire, I must ask you to stand once more. Will you testify to the court about your eyes? Of course. It was never my intent to deceive any of you. May I begin, Your Honor? Yes, of course. Though I admit I'm a little lost here. I think we are all a bit lost here, Your Honor. Everyone's lying. Gavin's not actually a guitarist, he's a singer. I have no memory of the light. I debuted in a world of darkness and sound. The producer came up with my PR line before he knew this. So silly as it may sound, I had to pretend I could see. Everyone on my staff knew, of course, but no others. But this is a murder trial. I apologize. It was part of my contract, you see. I was to keep my blindness a secret, no matter what. Except in cases of law. That's the time contracts don't work. Music is everything for me. I never imagined something like this would happen. Or this would. She doesn't say happen. I accidentally added that on. So tell us, she told us the truth in the beginning. And she said she saw nothing. Very well. Does the defense have anything to add? I'd like to cross-examine. Well, what is there left to ask? There was one thing in her testimony that bothered me. Perhaps it is best we get it out of your system. Someday you'll come to understand the importance of thinking for yourself. Very well, the defense may proceed. However, be aware this court will not tolerate any questions deemed too stressful to the witness. Why? She's not stressed. She's willing to answer things. Is it just because she's blind that you're treating her different now? Okay. There was only one part of that bothered me anyway. Just let me ask about that, and I'll be happy. Is it the part where everyone knew?
Hold it!
When you say your staff, do you include Mr. Letouce? Of course, he was my manager. So he knew, and that's what's been bugging me. Something the matter, Mr. Justice? I believe I know what this is bothering young defense attorney. You are thinking of when you discovered the body, yes? Is he right, Apollo? Yes, I was. Oh, find the siren. He's alive. Can you hear me? Cold, so cold. Witness, siren, your call. Don't worry, you're going to be fine. Why do I have to watch this again? This has been shown up 3 times now. Witness is siren. Mr. Latouche told me to ask the witness, and he named you. Why would he do that? He knew you were blind. I don't know. Tisk. What did I just say? You need to learn to think for yourself. Meaning what? There was no mystery here if you call everything he said. Think of his last words once more. The witness, siren. You've heard them many times along with a little play acting by our defense. Why am I reading it like Gavin? I remember them well myself, but that statement is not what I refer to. I mean what he said before that. Before? What came before that? That's right, he tried to tell you. When he said can't see, he wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about the witness. I see. Too bad the defense did not. Well, head forehead, try relaxing and look into the facts first next time. Order. Call Lemuel's testimony earlier. I was on my way down from the stage at the backstage exit. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But she couldn't have heard those gunshots. I thought we proved that. That is not the most important point here. The moment he was shot, Mr. Latouche witnessed her through the window. Why else would he have named her as the witness? But I really did hear them. 2 gunshots, and the man's voice. Unfortunately, such a thing was impossible. The window was closed. We've already run a simulation, of course. But it was so clear. If I heard that voice again, I would know it in an instant. Your Honor. What is it, bailiff? Can't you see we're in the session here? We had the results back from the investigation. Investigation? The Interpol number Mr. Latouche left us. Well, let's hear it. We will continue this cross-examination afterward. Detective Crescent. Your report, please. I asked Interpol about the number. I'm sure you'll find that the answer intriguing. Quick work as always, Darian. Well, tell us about the number. Is the defendant a secret agent? IPXX 314206. The agent registered under this number was Romain Latouche. What? Undercover Interpol agent was Mr. Latouche himself. He was apparently in the middle of an operation. So when he wrote those letters, he was trying to tell us his own identity. And a cautious killer tried to wipe them away. Mr. Latouche was an undercover Interpol agent. So him being Lemoire's manager was just a cover, most likely. There's one other important detail I found. Well, out with it. It concerns that 45 caliber revolver, the murder weapon. Apparently it belonged to the Romain Latouche. He had an Interpol agent permit to carry firearms, and the registration number on the revolver matched. So the victim was killed with his own weapon. Makes sense. It's hard to imagine someone who wasn't an Interpol agent with such a large revolver. The victim was an Interpol agent on an undercover op. Wonder how that ties into everything. It's got to tie into it somehow, you'd think. Yeah, somehow. Thanks for looking into that for us, Detective Crescent. It's a great help. Oh, no problem at all, Your Honor. I'll be heading out. Wait. Namiwa, is something the matter? That voice just now. Darian? Mr. Darian, is it? It was him. I'm sure of it. It was him? You aren't saying... That voice I heard, talking to Mr. Latouche. When I heard the gunshots fired, it was him. It was Mr. Darian. Is this some kind of joke? Oh man, that guitar riff is cool. What? No way! To be continued? Oh, no, probably will be after this. The courtroom fell in such a chaotic state, the trial had to be suspended temporarily. I'd never seen that happen before. Of course, it's not every day that you get to an accusation like that one. Lamiwa fingering... Lamiwa fingering Diane Crescent. Not only is he a guitarist, but he's a detective. I'm sorry. They could have used a different word, I think. Could it really have been his voice? Lamiwa heard. I'm still thinking about it. Things were changing fast, and frankly, I wasn't sure I could keep up with it. Hey, no whipping out now, Apollo. To be continued. God, that felt like that one went on for ages. Ugh. How long have I been going for? Not 2 hours. We've got 30 minutes left, so we can start part of the next one. Yes. Oh, we're investigating now. July 9th. Wait, were we on July 10th before? Or it might have been July 9th, 10 a.m. And now it's 2, so... Okay. Right, anything agency. Hey, Apollo. What? Well, you know... actually, nothing. I mean, something. Or maybe not. Out with it. The suspense is killing me an ulcer. Well, you know, the trial today. I was thinking. If you gave it a score, what score would you give it? Score? Gee. I guess I would, or maybe, well... But I'm just as bad as you. See, it's so vague. Clearly. She avoided a guilty verdict, which is something. So I can't say I'm any less confused about the case. I asked Interpol about the number. Sure, you find out the number's intriguing. Agent registered on the number was Romain Latouche. And the victim, Mr. Latouche. Who would have guessed he was actually an undercover Interpol agent? What a mess. We don't have any idea what he was investigating. Well, true, but we know who shot him now. I mean, I told the whole court. Wait! That voice just now. It was him! I'm sure of it. That voice I heard talking to Mr. Latouche. When I heard the gunshots fired, it was him. It was Mr. Darian. It was another mystery, Apollo. I love mysteries. I don't. Speaking of mysteries, what's Mr. Wright up to? I wouldn't have minded him asking his opinion. Now that you mention it, I haven't seen Daddy around. What, is he some kind of stray that just wanders in and out of Will? I wouldn't say that, but he's been going out a lot. Some top secret mission, he said. Top secret? Anyway, you can't just rely on him to save the day. And you got me to help you. We'll be fine. Fine. Right. Well, time's a wasting, as they say. Let's investigate. That's the spirit. Meanwhile, dropped a bomb in court today. It was Darian. Meanwhile, said she'd never forgotten a voice, right? That's so cool. I guess. What's that called again? Elephant ears? I bet that's what they're called. Somehow I don't think that means what you think it means. And she has to be wrong this time. Wrong? Why? I mean, look. Those gunshots were right during the concert. That's right. I was burning up the dance floor at the time. Right. Did you happen to look up on the stage? Maybe at Darian, even? You bet I did. He's one of the Gaviniers' guitarists, after all. He's so cool. Oh. Right. All the Gaviniers have a rock-solid alibi. He couldn't have shot Mr. Latouche backstage. But Lamiwa heard him, didn't she? She heard Darian backstage, right? Somebody's either wrong or lying very badly here. An Interpol agent. I was wondering, what is an Interpol anyway? Huh? Interpol? They're the guys who catch international criminals. Why can't they just call them international police then, instead of making some silly name? Yeah. Anyway, you think he was investigating Lamiwa? Here's the kicker. That is what they're called. Interpol is just a shortened name. What? Why would anyone do that? She's not a criminal. She couldn't be. Don't be fooled by appearances is all I'm saying. But remember, I'm a magician, Apollo. I can spot a palmed coin at 50 paces. If only were that easy. In any case, we know he was working on something. I wonder if it was something that was something to do with something. That something being our case. The last something, I mean. Something like that. Frankly, the whole thing is making my head hurt. What's Mr. Latusa up to? Ah ha 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 ha. I don't know who that is. Trucy? Was that another one of yours tricks? It wasn't me. I can't even make Mr. Hat laugh like that. Oh, hi. Wherever the mundane ways to miracles, a word whispered. Gramrair. Or Gramrai. Hey, the other day. Eek. Who's there? We didn't just imagine that, did we? Who's wearing a silk hat? Friend of yours? Hardly. We meet again. Nice to meet you. Who are you? Could you possibly please stop smirking like that? It's you, Uncle Valen. Uncle Valen? He's your uncle? No, silly. It's the greatest Grammary. Valen Grammary. Grand Magician. Yes, it is I, the great Valen Grammary. Or Gramrai. How do you say that? As seen on television. Could you please stop smirking like that? It's been a while, Miss Trucy. 7 years to be exact. My, how you've grown. Good to see you, Uncle Valen. You look exactly the same. I hate to intrude, but what is a great magician doing paying us a visit? I believe it was you who wished to see me. So be quick with your questions. And do not quail, quake, or quiver. I am quite tame. Though my stardom may sear the sight, I am down to earth when need calls. It does seem a certain aura to him, it's true. Let's ask him about the case, Apollo. His aura sure isn't lost in our magician in the making. He's practically drooling with enthusiasm. After all, Uncle Valen's one of Daddy's best friends. That's why I call him Uncle. What? Daddy? You mean Mr. Wright? No, I mean my real daddy. Trucy's real father. What? I have to say, Trucy, the way that you say real father makes it sound as though you don't think Wright is your real father. And it kind of makes me feel sad for it. It might be better to say, you know, my biological father. Or my previous father. Or something to that effect. Or my other dad. You know, rather than just my real dad. Not this current one. This phony. Wait, Apollo. Don't tell me you don't know about Troop Grammar, Troop Grammary? Huh? No. Oh, it is Grammary then. But it does sound kind of familiar. Oh, lost life, lamentable listless lad! Do not know of the greatest troop of magicians on the planet. Valen Gramrai. The name began to surface in my mind. It was a name I heard on televisions as a child. You bet you've heard the name. He made a cruise ship disappear and blew up an amusement park. Oh, and he made all this gold disappear from a safe. And then escaped from a high-security prison. You said he's a magician? I open the locks to chained hearts by mediocrity. This is the true miracle of Troop Grammary. Wait. What, Apollo? I do remember seeing you on television a long time ago. Weren't you with someone else? Like a duo? A duo? Yeah, you had a partner. Something Grammary. Yes, Zach Grammary. A masterful maker of magic, a capable crafter of shining showmanship. Why is everyone so quiet? Daddy. Daddy? Huh? No way. Once upon a time, Troop Grammary included 2 grand magicians. Myself, Valen Grammary, and my partner, Zach Grammary. And this Zach was... He was my real daddy. Again, but whatever, I'll just roll with it. Trucy's father, magician. I guess it makes sense. I had no idea. Wasn't much point in talking about it, not now that he's gone. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's okay. I'm not lonely. I've got my daddy after all. And you make me laugh, Apollo. Oh. stupid Trucy. Shut up. Why did that hit me? Glad that I'm good for comic relief at least. Not that I'd see Daddy around these days. I have been remiss in remembering my reasons for my visit. Reasons? 2, in fact. The first being, of course, to see you, Miss Trucy. You don't know how happy I am to see you again, Uncle Valen. I'm sure you are. Not one for modesty, are you? When I encountered you at the Colosseum the first time in 7 years, I could fain not contain my emotions. I swept oceans. And to learn you now defend the poor pianist, that blinded boy, was a hot topic of talk amongst the staff, you know. And defend him you did. Well, it wasn't all my doing. I'm his defense attorney, actually. My other reason for coming here today was this. That's a videotape? Quite so. A recording of the concert, no less. Oh God. Videotape. Oh, I remember that. I brought it for you, Trucy, on behalf of Troop Gramry. Will you please watch it? Sugar, sugar, do. Oh, that night, in your embrace. When you stole away the keys, my heart held on so tight. I guess that's supposed to be, what's his name? Darian? Pleasure. But a fleeting melody. It wraps itself. You see the fire around me. And now through the air I fly. Whoa. I mean, isn't the drummer disappeared? I just noticed that. Burning in my heart. Fire. Burn my love away. All away. Like a bullet of love. Fire. Take my life away. All away. Guitar. Guitar. Up together. To the sky. Yeah, you can see that the drummer's not there anymore. Wow, it's almost as good as it was live. So what's the word? Mysterious. There are more mysterious things than a song going on. Way more mysterious. This Valen Gramry has a good reason to be here today. But I wonder what his reasons were to be at that concert. I have a badge. What's this? You would ask me for a miracle, free of free? Then thy wish to be granted, thy will be done, thy evidence evicted into the ether. No evicting, please. Are all magicians like this, I wonder? Skip, 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 skip. I'm just going by each one, just in case he has something to say. So, I was wondering, that stunt in the middle of the song there, I didn't see a stunt. What about Lamiwao vanishing and reappearing? Oh, that? I guess I'm so used to seeing that happen, I didn't even notice. So young to be so jaded. A simple sleight of hand, a petite prestidigitation. A modicum of magic from me to you. So that's why you were at the concert. Yes. I was there to watch my trick take to the air. So you were the one who knows how it was all done? Of course. I am like a deity with the stage as my domain. I suffer no mystery upon those floodlit bores not grasped tightly twixt my fingers. It is a potent primeval power I possess. Well, do you think you could tell me how it was done? Hey now. Lucy? That's like totally against the rules, Apollo. Not during a murder investigation, it's not. May not. My illusions are mine alone, monsieur. Also what? Recall that a terrible occurrence happened later. Well after my illusion entranced the audience. Oh. Don't even ask. I won't answer. Too bad for you, Apollo. Whose side are you on? If this gets proven to be important, then you're going to have to tell me because it's part of the law. Regardless of if it's part of a magician's trick, you have to tell the law. Otherwise, you go to prison for withholding evidence. I, Valent Grambury, now take my leave, Miss Trucy. There's no need to rush. Uncle Valent, you should stay a while. I'm afraid I cannot. I may not. I shall not. I have been asked to assist with an analysis, and so I shall slink back to the scene. So, you'll be at the concert venue today? Correct. If you would call on me, come to the Colosseum. See you later, crocodile. With a whirl of his cloak and a wink of his eye, he turned and walked through the door. Normally. Well, there you go, Apollo. Let's get cracking. Right. Valent Grambury. I've got a few more things to ask him. Foremost among them, that bit of magic that made Lemoir disappear. And how he knows Trucy and her real father. Well, off we go. Detention center first, I think. July 9th. Machi may not be guilty, but he's still a suspect. But they don't have any decisive evidence. Yeah, but only someone as small as him could have gotten into that room. Or out of that room. Right, yeah then. And he lied. Lied? Machi Dubai can see. Machi. Speak of the devil. You look like he's doing okay. I forget, why did we come here? It's not like we can talk to him or anything. Suddenly finds out he can talk. Probably not, but... Words are overrated. Feelings are what matters, Apollo. It's kind of hard to build a court case on feelings. But since we're here, anyway, I might as well get what I want to say off my chest. If you need someone to complain to, I'll listen. Trucy, you're coming through like a freaking true friend. God damn it. You've barely known him for like a month or two, and you're like, oh yeah, tell me anything. I think she's actually worried for me. So, what did you think of the trial today? Phew, glad he doesn't understand English after all. If he did, he would have been scared out of his mind by that trial. Hey, all's well that ends well. You have to be more goal-orientated. If he's innocent, we win. No, if he's found not guilty, we win. Machi might not understand English, but I bet he gets that better than you do. Oh. Huh? I'm glad Lemoir testified. What a great person. He even got Machi off the hook by naming another suspect. Darian of the Gaviniers, the detective. What if Machi knows what happened? I mean, if he could follow how the trial went and all, or at all, if no one told him there's a new suspect, how would he know? Hey. What is it, Apollo? No, it's nothing. I must be imagining it. That's twice now. You can't be imagining it. Imagining what, Apollo? It's just, I couldn't help but feel that, I don't know. Machi, he doesn't understand what we're saying, right? How could he? He's a young Borginian. He doesn't speak English. Yeah, but my bracelet is reacting to him. Huh? Maybe it's malfunctioning? Or it's scared. Maybe you keep making those I'm so mad faces. Was I that bad? I actually lied about not being able to see. But what if that's not all he lied about? I'm curious about that if there's only one thing to do. You should ask him. I think I'll take some time, something big to get him to see, get to him, some kind of undeniable evidence. We'll be back, Machi. So, Machi, you can see, right? Machi can see and Lamua can't. The whole world's gone topsy-turvy. Sorry, Apollo. I don't think we're going to get anything information out of him. Which makes sense. Yeah, I guess it does. Want to look at my badge? This might break the case. I think he said, I'm sorry, I cannot speak your language. You are very beautiful, fair maiden. This is why I never trust a translator. No, this is why you should never trust Trucy as a translator. I'm just going to show him everything. I have a gun. Speak English. Going through each individual one. Okay, well, I was just making sure, because sometimes they're like, oh, you need to go find something, and then I already have the thing. Sunshine Coliseum. Ooh. Guilty as charged. Winners. Live tour. They even have a blimp? Why do they have, like, international flags? Wait, what are even these? This is just red, green, yellow with a green line on it, blue with some bubbles, and pink and an orange? Oh, what a great day. It's perfect weather for sleuthing. The weather matters for an investigation. Don't some days just feel like magic days or defense days? Sure, let's get started, shall we? Right on. Show us your stuff, Apollo. What stuff? Your voice training. This is the perfect place for it. I did enough at home, thanks. Oh, there's no need to be shy. Keep that up and you'll never make it on the big stage. I'm happy in the courtroom, thank you. I'm a lawyer. And you're in luck because it's lawyer's weather today. Don't you just want to face the sky and shout, objection? Look, the weather has nothing to do with lawyers. Let's get going already. Why is this guy down here just sort of looking down at the birds? What's that creature there? Ooh, that's the police mascot, the blue badger. Eh? It's life-size. Haven't you seen them around town, patrolling the streets? Yes, now even Law and Order has a mascot. I'd run away from that thing even if it wasn't a criminal. Or if I wasn't. Why does his head wobble like that when it walks? It's freaky. I don't think you're showing true blue badger spirit, Apollo. There's just two people here. There's this blimp that's just staying in the air. Look, a blimp! Those balloons next to it have sponsors ads on them. Let's see. Big sale, all shirts 50% off. Oh, it's an ad for the department store next door. Sunshine Coliseum sure is living up to its name today. It's huge! And Mr. Gavin got to play on the enormous stage. I'm so jealous. Someday I'll fight my first battle on this stage. Battle? Well, yeah, it's a Coliseum, isn't it? They don't do gladiatorial contests at these places anymore, Trucy. Really? I had no idea. I wonder why they stopped. Sometimes I worry about her. Aren't you going to school? Shouldn't you know this? Look, a massive sign as for the guilty as charged tour. A giant Prosecutor Gavin stares over the arena. Where? That's not Prosecutor Gavin, is it? It just looks like a demon. Ooh, maybe I could take it to the office when we're done with it. Where would you put it? You couldn't even get that thing through the front door. Well, then I put it outside. I bet it's good for business. Just as long as no one comes in expecting us to prosecute. Or if anyone comes looking for a concert, leave it to me. Is this part of some twisted plan of hers to make her signing debut or singing debut, I wonder? No, it's because she's actually a huge Gaviniers fan and just wants all the propaganda. You got a dog. That thing is still on the floor. Oh, hey. Ah, Mr. Attorney. I mean, what? Sorry about today. There is nothing you need to apologize for. You were merely defending Machi. Are you okay? Alone, I mean? Humans are blessed with 5 senses. Even robbed of one, we get by. Although it does make being a witness rather difficult. Speaking of seeing, you knew who we were before we even spotted you just now. We weren't even talking. I heard your footsteps several times the day before. Oh. You must have great ears. Ears that heard the crime taking place. Or so she claimed yesterday, but how? Look at the eyepiece. That's been lying there since the day before yesterday. It's small, maybe no one's noticed it. How is it? It's not that small. I can see it by just looking straight ahead. Kinda want to pick it up. It'd make for a cool souvenir, don't you think? It does stick out in my mind for some reason. But still don't pick it up. Fine. That would be the blue badger, the police mascot. There's a guy outside in a giant blue badger costume lumbering about. He stands out even more than those Gavinier posters. All the same, he's the band mascot too, you know. I can't picture Prosecutor Gavin going for that kind of thing. Neither can I. But there's a story there just waiting to be told. That's the Gavinier's dressing room. They're all out on the investigation. Being backstage isn't half as glamorous without a band here. It's Lamoir's dressing room, and the scene of the crime. It's kind of lightly guarded for being a crime scene. I'm not complaining. Makes it easier for us to go in. And Emma gave us the okay, right? We can wander in and do as we like. I wonder how Emma's doing anyway. I hope she's not getting cavities from eating all those chocolate snackoos. They were chocolate? I thought they were sausages. I'm thirsty, Apollo. Want something to drink? About this one. The steel samurai soda. We already had this discussion. Now real steel? Here, my treat. Hey, this is enough change. Machines outside are cheaper. Let's just talk. That was quite a statement you made today in court about hearing Darian Crescen's voice at the scene of the crime. I did not know his name, but I never forget a voice. Wait, Lemoir, is something wrong? Blah, blah, blah. The voice just now is the one I heard. I don't need to hear this. We had this literally at the start. As I said in court, I was on my way backstage from the stage. That is when I heard his voice. I'm guessing Darian and Mr. Latouche were talking about something. The next moment, I heard those gunshots. Why didn't you call us security? To be honest, though the noise was quite frightening, I never imagined the gunshots might be real. And I was quite in a hurry myself. I left the scene at once. So, it really was Darian's voice that she heard. Yeah. At least she certainly thinks it was. I met Machi before my debut as Lemoir. I was singing in a restaurant in Borginia. And he was playing the piano? Yes. He was very kind to me when he learned I could not see. Is that when you started playing opposites? With Machi pretending that he couldn't see? No, it wasn't then. That began after our major debut. After I became known as the landscape painter in sound. It must have been tough being for Machi, pretending he couldn't see, and all the while acting as your eyes. We held hands always. He would write with his fingers in my palm to signal to me things I should know. He is smart, gentle boy. I think I see what she's getting at. Machi would never harm a soul. About Mr. Latouche. Ah, yes. He was an Interpol agent, I hear. So you had no idea? Of course not. No one did. I guess that's what it means to be an undercover. But someone was after him. They had to know who he really was. Why did he pose as my manager? I do not understand. You have no idea? I can only assume that he was investigating me, but why? What makes you think that? Perhaps it's not so, but I just cannot deny the possibility. Because of my condition. As my present is veiled in darkness, so too is my past clouded from memory. Clouded, right. The darkness that I fear is not the darkness that I see whenever I open my eyes. The real darkness lies in my heart. In your heart? I have no memory of the time before I became Lemoir. I woke from darkness into darkness, you might say. I was singing in a restaurant those days. What was it she said about not being able to remember the light? I do not know my past. Perhaps I committed some terrible crime in my past. Everything before Le Memoir is lost to me. But I don't think you... I can think of no other explanation. Why else would an agent of Interpol approach me? You think your past might be related to this case? No way, that seems really unlikely to me. I mean, you're such a sweet person, Le Memoir. I thank you. Machi too tells me this often when I fear who I might have been. Is there any point to show her anything because she can't see things? If you think you tell me about this, I'm sorry, but my information about the outside world is somewhat limited, blah 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 blah. That is why she doesn't react when I showed her stuff the other day. She was still pretending she could see then. I took a look at your performance again. It was even better the second time. Thank you. That reminds me. That was an incredible illusion you pulled off. Illusion? You teleported from one stage to the other, remember? Ah, yes. Apparently they hired a professional magician. Alan Gramery. I was wondering, do you think you could tell us how it was done? I'm afraid I cannot. Mr. Gramery made me swear to never tell a soul. I was afraid of that. How to be a magician if you can't keep a secret, you know? Ah, I'm reminded that I wish to speak to you about something. Yes? When I was walking this hallway before, I stumbled upon a smaller device of some kind. It was lying on the floor. Device? Maybe you mean this? It's been lying there since the day before yesterday. Might I touch it? I thought as much. What did you think? This is one of our headsets. Everyone on staff wears one during a concert. I wonder whose this is. We use it for communication. It would be quite inconvenient should it go missing. We'll hold on to it for you then. We'll give it to Prosecutor Gavin when we see him. Yes, that's best. Thank you. So, can I put it on? Attached? I'm not some kind of robot, Apollo. Everyone on staff was wearing one of these headsets. I need to read. Did I miss that? Yeah, headset attached to Trucy. Okay. I missed that. I just blanked on it because I was thinking, oh, I just put it in inventory, whatever. Everyone on staff was wearing one of these headsets. This might warrant some further inquiry. Can I ask you about this headset, Le Memoir? You said that all concert staff were wearing one? That's correct. You need them to communicate across such a large area. Everyone on the staff had one, of course. And all of the band members too, I should think. So Prosecutor Gavin and his lackeys had them on too, then. They're quite helpful, though limited. They only work within 30 feet or so. After all, they're only for use on stage, and a stronger signal would interfere with the sound system. Makes sense. You'd think someone would notice if they dropped their only communications lifeline. So why was this one lying here? Probably remains. Sure, Gavin is dressing room first. Nothing, so I guess I don't need to be here. Uh-oh. Exactly, uh-oh. There's only one person I know who can munch with such venom. What are you doing here? Hello, Emma. You're looking as grumpy as ever. Oh, am I supposed to be happy? You give me the second degree in court, and Prosecutor Gavin makes me look like a fool. You're talking about the bloodstain Mr. Latouche left. My department chief had a field day with that one. Even a blind person could see the shooter wasn't blind. Funny guy, huh? But that bloodstain helped uncover the biggest mystery of all. Now that we know Mr. Latouche was really in with Interpol, we wouldn't have found that out without you. I suppose. Maybe that's why the chief gave me these after he was finished chewing me out. Said it was my reward. Are chocolate snackies popular down in the precinct or something? I was hoping I could check out the crime scene again. Be my guest. You're not going to find any clues in here. Though I did find something strange. Something strange? I'm going to save. I think that is a good place to stop for today. We can pick this up on Thursday? Yeah, Thursday, because today is Tuesday. So yeah, we'll pick this up on Tuesday, where we will... Thursday, not Tuesday. God damn it. Where we will continue with this. Tomorrow we're back with God of War 3. So look, oh, not God of War 3. God of War 2018. Where we will be continuing with that. Fine, I'll save. There you go. Save. Anyway, now that I can think, we'll be continuing with this on Thursday. Tomorrow we're back with God of War, so look forward to that. Thank you for everyone that showed up today. I hope everyone enjoyed. As usual, like, follow, subscribe, do that bell notification, you know when our next stream, because you should get a notification. If you don't, that's on YouTube's side, so you would need to check with them why you aren't. But it's annoying because sometimes it doesn't work. It does the same thing to me, and I don't know why they still have not fixed that. Anyway, all of that. If you want to support me directly as links to Patreon and tips, they do help a lot immensely. I greatly appreciate them. And if you do become a patron, you get your name added to the patron list at the end of every stream here, where I give you a shout out at the end of every stream, like I do with Hiroru Okuni, and I thank you for the continued support, and I greatly appreciate you. And I shout objection in your face and scream my steel cords, whatever. But regardless, thank you for joining. Hope everyone has a nice rest of the day, and I'll see you all tomorrow with God of War. Until then, y'all take care.